Good evening. I am Sentient Dessert, and this is going to be an interesting night. Perhaps. So, what I have planned, at least for the first part of it, is going to be Higurashi When They Cry. If you're unfamiliar, this is a visual novel that is, for lack of a better word, extremely dark. We're gonna get right into it and continue. We had just finished our first school day back after 2 days gone. In this little city where there's only one classroom, apparently. Let me just take care of a few things. So, hope that everybody has been doing okay. It's funny, the cicadas are actually very calming right now. Alright. Just need to take care of a few more things, and then we will be getting into this. I just wanted to start the stream so that, I wanted to get things started. Put it that way. Fun. A week since I played. Oh wow, it's the 13th already? No matter what the day it held, the last school bell always came too soon. Our shadows stretched off into the distance. Hey Keiichi-kun, tomorrow do you have any plans or anything? Or anything? Huh? Such a direct question from Reina, I inadvertently blushed. If it was for a date, then wouldn't you do it more subtly? Reina saw me at a loss for words and realized that I'd misunderstood and turned red as well. No, I didn't mean it like that. You see... So apparently that wasn't what she meant. But since it's always fun when Rain is in a panic, I went along with it a little. Oh really? Well, it wasn't meant that way. Huh? Huh? Playing it up, I slumped my shoulders, feigning dejection. Keiichi-kun, why are you so disappointed? Why? Why? Mi-chan? Unable to hold it in any longer, Mion slapped me on the back. See, this old geezer never knew you could push her buttons like that. Huh? Huh? What? What is it? Mion was rolling on the floor, clutching her stomach while Reina flailed around, completely bewildered. I couldn't help but start laughing as well. Feeling just a bit guilty, I ruffled Reina's hair. Kidding, sorry, it was a joke. That was my fault. He really is a cute one. Huh? Huh? A joke? Since when? Since when? Huh? About, halfway through. Halfway? It's okay, Chan, that means you weren't acting when you blushed at the start. Huh? That means... It was only a momentary laugh, but there was no way Mion could let such a delectable detail slip by her. Well, you see... Saying anything more was also a bad idea. In my bewildered state, I slipped further into an unfavorable position. After that, Mion continued to tease me about it for a while. So, why were you asking if I'm free tomorrow, Anna? Huh? Oh, what were we talking about? It had been so long that Reina had forgotten. That's how long Mion had teased me. So maybe 5 minutes. It's just, Kei-chan, you probably can't find your way around Hinamizawa by yourself. Yet can you? That was true. I hate to say it, but if you blindfolded me and spun me around 3 times like we were playing pin the tail on the donkey, I wouldn't be able to tell up from down here. Yeah, I don't think I know how to get anywhere besides back and forth from school. Yes, so you see, tomorrow, we were thinking that Michan and I could escort you around Hinamizawa and show you around. That would be a godsend, frankly. I was happy about the offer. You'll come, of course, right? If I'm free. You're being invited by a girl, you know. If I'm free. You're probably free anyways. If I'm free. I was being stubborn so as not to give a clear yes or no. Even though I thought it was a godsend, I'm too much of a scamp to say so up front. Ichi-kun, you're not free, perhaps? Perhaps? While Mion and I had had our rather sour back and forth, Reina peeked over at me hesitantly. Figuring I'd been a bit too rough on her, I gave in. Sorry. Forgive me. I apologize. I'm free. Great! The trepidation disappeared from Reina's face as it blossomed into a smile. Hey now. Seems like there's quite a difference between how cold you are to me compared to Reina, isn't there? Seems Mion didn't care for how rude I was to her compared to how quickly I agreed with Reina. But her being annoyed was very interesting. So I pushed Reina forward, speeding up our pace to leave Mion behind. Let's go, Reina. Maybe it should just be the 2 of us tomorrow, leave grumpy old Mion behind. Huh? Whoa. If Keiichi-kun is okay with that, then... I'm the one who came up with the idea to take him around. Don't ignore me, Keiichi Maebara. It'd be great if the 2 of us could go on a picnic together. Can we bring a basket, Reina? If we're bringing a basket, I'll make all the food, maybe. Maybe. Don't you ignore me too, Reina. I'll tell everyone that you 2 disappeared into the hotel district together. Well then, I'm gonna go home right now and start making it. Tomorrow is going to be so fun. Later, Keiichi-kun, Mi-chan, bye. Reina bounded off like she was walking on the moon. After the dust settled, all that was left was me standing next to Mion, sprawled out on the ground. There was a welt on her face. Are you alright? There's over 2 meters between you guys. Since you came, they've become sharper. The old geezer's body can't handle it. Maybe it'd be easier if you stopped saying stuff that makes... Maybe it'd be easier if you stopped saying stuff that makes Reina want to hit you. Or else we'll end up being Mion's slapstick comedy hour. If that happened, the results might be fatal. Don't feel bad, Mion. You're probably the only one who can dodge her jabs. It felt like it was her knee, though. Could it be that we were hanging out with an unrivaled martial arts master? Maybe someday we'll see her debut in an extreme contact sport. You can't lose to Reina. You need to train up and have a rematch. Hey Chan, you should. This old geezer will root for you. Mion and I reaffirmed our determination to discover a way to counter Reina's infallible technique. Gave you new tips. Okay. Don't know what these are. Lorena, we're the same age. Yes. That's right. We're the same zodiac animal, too. Hey now, it would be weird if we were the same age, but not the same zodiac animal. That's not true. If your birthday isn't the same, then you can have different animals even if you're the same age. Huh? Oh, I see. Mion, you're pretty smart. What month were you born, by the way, Keiichi-kun? I'm July. Anna smirked and puffed up with pride. Hey now, what's the meaning of this? She's not planning to be all high and mighty if her birthday is a wee bit sooner than mine, is she? Eh, don't even. It's impossible to challenge me by birthday. I wouldn't even mind if you bet $1 per month. Huh? Huh? Why? Why? Reina panicked at suddenly being challenged to a wager. Given how panicked she is, I'm certain she doesn't have much allowance left this month. Just sending her into a panic about something as simple as a birthday is so fun, I can't help myself. So that means you were born in April, Kei-chan. Right on. Too bad, Reina. I'm already far older than Reina. Oh, I see. Then you're the same age as me-chan. Well, it's just a few months. That gap will open up again soon enough. Mion snickered through her nose. Hey now, that's not something to get all high and mighty about. As if I'm one to talk. Now that you mention it, you're in a higher grade, right, Mion? If you're into underclassmen, then I can be an underclassman from now on. Mi-chan, you're not making any sense to me. Just by seeing Reina's blushing face, you could tell she knew exactly what she meant by it, though. And Satoko and Rika-chan are underclassmen. Their grade is so different that they should be in a different school, shouldn't they? Keiichi-kun, your tastes are a bit too young, I think. You're not making any sense to yourself, Reina. I'll just grab onto her head and scruff it up a bit. Aw, stop it! Okay, so it looks like this is a side story type thing. So, one moment, please. Wondered about it before, yeah. I was wondering why the school has different school years all mixed up. There aren't enough classrooms. Can't help it. This building is being rented from the Forestry Service after all. When she says it like that, it makes sense. Our school was strange for a while now. Schoolyard is gravel, there are rooms that aren't for classes, there's some strange sort of construction machinery parked here. Why is it being borrowed? What happened to the real school? There was one here forever from before the war. It got dilapidated. They closed it down. It probably was a grand old schoolhouse. Well, because of that, the students would have to attend the school in the city. That's pretty far though, you know? Which school would that be? Did you know there's a school if you pass by the Okinomiya train station? Turn at the hospital and head towards the pediatrics department. What? Just so far. I couldn't tell where that was by the location, but I understood it was pretty far from Reina's reaction. Well, that's why. The guys didn't want to commute to Okonomiya, rented out... The guys that didn't want to commute to Okonomiya rented out the building from the forestry services and are attending the pseudo schoolhouse here. About half the children in Hinamizawa go here. There are quite a lot of kids that come here on bike. Well, since they're attending this really messed up school, it might be pretty hard for them to get into higher education. That's not true, Mi-chan. If you study properly, you can go anywhere you want. Yeah, that's right, that's right. I totally agree with Reina on this one. Yes, that's right. That's right. Let's try our best. All of you, try your best. This old man will be rooting for it. This old man will be rooting for you. Not just us, you too. You should be preparing for exams, shouldn't you? Your future is bleak with grades like this. Fine, just fine. If I get stuck, then I'll mooch off Kei-chan as he works forever. What do you mean by work forever? What do you mean? Hey, you're too loud. Be quiet during self-study. I didn't know it was going to be the teacher that said that. The teacher yelled at all three of us. It was completely our fault. Satoko saw it and chortled haughtily. I stuck out my tongue at her in response. It is just as Mion says. This school has nothing to do with higher education, but it makes up for that by having lots of valuable things other schools don't. Okay. Exit that. Going to save. Close. Continue. I am going to get a drink of juice. I took it a little too easy on the morning of my day off. It was totally late. Today was the day Reina and Mion were going to show me around Hinamizawa. Reina and Mion were already waiting at the meeting place. Kei-chan, you're late. Kei-chan, you're late. Sorry. The show I was watching last night was really interesting. Blame that. Oh, so that's your excuse for being late and keeping two girls waiting? Mi-chan, you just got here yourself. Last night's episode of A Day of the in the Life of was interesting, wasn't it? He was just as guilty as me. Reina was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right, Reina really did make a picnic. Hey Chen, after you left, Reina pulled out all the stops. Not like I forced her to do it. It was nothing. Don't worry about it, okay? She's been like this since last night, you know. Can you take responsibility for this? Alright, I am a man after all. I'll take responsibility. Huh? Responsibility for what? For what? As we both turned around slowly to look at Reina, our gazes drifted downward to a massive handbag she was carrying. It didn't seem logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes. Except this was Reina we were talking about here. About 2 kilos, I guess. When Reina was picking it up, I could see she was struggling a bit. I say 5. You're exaggerating. Ichi-kun is a boy after all. I thought he could probably eat a lot, so I made a lot, okay? Let's get going. Heave-ho! Just from the way she was lifting it up, I couldn't believe the only thing in there were lunchboxes. Correction, I say 5 kilos too. I'll help out, but all of it needs to be eaten. Won't forgive you if you make Reina sad, got it? The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. Carefree walk bathed in the gentle morning sunlight. I couldn't have even imagined something so wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies, after all. No slovenly desk jockeys trudging to work on the weekends out here. It really was a nice place. Peaceful and quiet. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around. Ah, good day. Good day. Oh. You would be my Bara-kun, I believe. My 2 companions exchanged greetings with everybody we ran across. All these passersby even knew my name. When did I become this famous? We passed 3 people, and when all 3 of them knew me, I started to feel a bit paranoid. Bit sad to say. Everyone knows everyone since there are so few people here in Hinamizawa. That means when an unfamiliar face walks by, they automatically assume it's that my Bara fellow who just moved here. Yeah, that's how it works out. Process of elimination. You could only pull off in a place like this. It was quite effective. From now on, I'd better make sure to maintain a good reputation. The day I'm discovered accidentally gawking at a dirty magazine in the bookstore, I can expect all the villagers labeling me as a lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. I gotta double check something really fast. Sorry about that. That's not the end of this nightmare. Of course I know them. The first person we met was the old man Takezo from the Makino bike shop. His hobbies are bonsai and playing the flute. Next, we met the grocer's second son, Daisuke-kun. His hobby is sharpshooting, and he hopes to be an ace sniper in the future. And the person we just met was Mio-san, the nurse from the clinic. Her hobbies are birdwatching and photography. You know the names of everyone we passed by? And even their profiles? Seeing my surprise, Mion and Reina exchanged looks and burst into laughter. Well, yeah. We're not like the city where people hardly know their neighbors. Then let's try it out. You there, who am I? You're Keiichi Maibara. You say some mean things, but you're actually a kind, shy person. It's been 3 weeks since you transferred here. Your hobby is taking afternoon naps. Lately you switched over to wearing boxers. Didn't you? That's enough. That's enough. Boxers. Enough of that. Apparently there's absolutely nothing you can keep hidden here. Hinamizawa was not a place to be trifled with. This feels more like you guys are showing me off rather than showing me around. That's right. We're parading around like this after all. Don't you just think so too? That Kei-chan is fitting right in here in Hinamizawa. The population in Hinamizawa is shrinking. The villagers welcome anybody who's new here. I thought about brushing it off with something to the effect of, "You're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever greeted someone who'd just moved into a city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe that what they said wasn't a joke after all. We passed another person. Of course, we were called out to again the same way. Oh my, good day. It's wonderful to see you getting along. This lady here is Fujishima-san. Good day. Oh my Barcode, how wonderful for you having a lovely girl on each arm. How are you? Getting used to the life here? Instead of regurgitating a prepared response like I would have in the city, I respond with an emphatic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was. Good. As I looked back over to Reina and Mion, they gave me a wink. So, now then. About time to have lunch, maybe? Maybe? Reina's brilliant smile signaled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both looked at each other. I'm a man, I'll do what I can. But it's just too much. It's fine, Kei-chan. It's fine, Kei-chan. Leave it to this old man. Mion has never seemed as reliable as she does right now. I'd expect no less from the class representative. Reina, if we're going to eat, we might as well go somewhere with a good view. Ah, yes! Good idea, I agree. Reina nodded her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Cresting the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling. This here is the Furude Shrine. It's probably the place with the best view around. This place, be sure to remember it. On our next break, a festival will be held here. Isn't it a bit too early in the season for a festival? The Watanagashi isn't a summer festival. Long ago, it used to be a celebration of the end of winter. I was embarrassed for assuming that festivals had to be held in the summer. Now then, spread out the lunchboxes. And there. Various colored lunchboxes were placed one after the other on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Reina's home cooking. 1 second, sorry. Okay. Went without saying that it would be delicious. Even possible to finish all of this. Hey, Mion, it'll take more than a good view to get all this down, you know. Good afternoon. It was Rika-chan and Satoko. Why are they here? Mion grinned over at me. Hey, I see, this was her secret plan, to power in the numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my specialty. We just had come here since there was such a commotion. What is the meaning of this? Take a look. Time for lunch. Buffet style. A handmade gourmet meal by Reina. I can see that much. Why have you laid out a tarp on our property? The temple is public grounds, it's not yours. Eiichi is right. This is everyone's property. Wow, Rika-chan is such a good girl. Have a seat. Eat with us. After opening a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satoko. Hold on 1 second. Where's my spot? No spot for you and nothing for you to eat. Don't worry, there's some for you too. None. I'll eat all of hers. I will not allow that. Rika! Here, chapsticks. Both Satoko and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with each other. Man, really, Kei-chan. You're really good at leading people on. You might have a talent for this. Have a plate, one for me, Chan and Rika-chan too. Reina whipped out a pair of chopsticks and paper plates. This is difficult doing multiple girls' voices. Don't hurry, it'll all be eaten up. That's right, okay. Shall we commence this battle? Please eat a lot. There's enough for everyone. Reina said as she opened up a thermos. Just then I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. Didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different. I will not allow you to have this hamburger. Using your elbow is against the rules, Satoko. Grabbing the back of my collar is also against the rules. It was a tough battle, blocking her with full momentum and an elbow in the opening moves. Satoko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopsticks proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand. Ah, the last meatball. Satoko Hojo has been bested. Satoko and I amiably began choking at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Reina blush and breathe heavily in excitement. It was almost like flowers were floating all around her. Mion advised Reina to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I'd do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. Dun dun dun. The intense battle calmed. And finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh. I do wonder why there are so few words in Japanese to praise how something tastes. Isn't it because the idea of togetherness during a meal didn't begin until the modern era? Seems that long ago people ate in silence. It must have made the people preparing the food a bit sad, don't you think? It's probably because back then the people were busy, even while eating, and didn't have the time to complement the flavor. That's just you. But you know, just hearing that it's good makes me happy. That my effort was worth it, I mean. She blushed a little as she said that. It was delicious. With absolute perfect timing, Rika-chan struck Reina directly with praise. He looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence. Huh? After Reina uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an Slow down, slow down. After Reina uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an audible poof. Oh, Rika-chan, I'm gonna take you home. No, I mean, thank you. It was really delicious. Reina flushed red with excitement, embracing Rika-chan and rubbing her cheek against her so hard you could almost hear it. Reward Rika-chan for her praise? Ta-da! These are special. 2 apple rabbits. After sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them towards Rika-chan. After Rika-chan accepted them, the Yes. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way. What is it, Satoko? What's with the defiant look? Is everyone prepared proper praise to receive apples from Reina-san? Don't push yourself. What kind of praise can you think up with your weak vocab? Ho ho ho. Well then, allow me to show you. After Satoko flashed Mion and me a defiant look, She changed the tone of her voice suddenly. Hey. Don't Reina One-chan's lunch? Satoko thought it was yummy too. Satoko looked up at her poutily while talking cutesy. Wow. How was that praise? That's not even persuasion by tears, that's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is a Reina Limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Reina. Aw, how? Of course that was asking for the impossible. Reina glomped Satoko and began rubbing her cheek against her. Cute! Satoko is so cute. Take you home, how? Swish. Dab. Push. Satoko was also presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me, again with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Reina. That's unfair. I think she had such a trick. If it upsets you so much, why not reward Reina with some praise? Damn it. That was a dirty trick. First of all, that wasn't even praise. Satoko, you think you've won with that, don't you? How about I show you guys something much better than your superficial gimmicks? That sounds great, Mion. What kind of trick is it? Hei-chan is going to be the one who does it. Huh? Oh, why don't I have you show me then? The writhing of an old maid. The plan of attack she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing we had to beat Satoko. After sipping my tea, I started talking, very naturally, calmly. Perfectly. It really is good, isn't it? This is all freshly made, right? No. Actually, most all of it was frozen stuff. And which ones did you make fresh? Well, it's embarrassing. Do I really have to say? Must I? From the synergy of boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression had melted into euphoria. I already know. This one, right? Reina turned an even deeper shade of red. The words "I can't believe it" practically written on her face. How can you tell? How? That I made it. Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a bit. Next would be the finisher. It had your smell. Silence enveloped the area. Reina, face still completely red, froze solid. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course I did too. I sure would like to try one of Reina's handmade apple rabbits. Something. Even if this was all because I was competing against Satoko, it felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then, at that moment, whoosh! It was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits. Please eat some, Keiichi-kun. There's plenty for you. Instantly, dozens of the apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over. Okay, say. Keiichi-kun. My head was forcibly laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. While she was squealing, one apple after another was forced into my mouth. More and more apples. How about them apples, Satoko? Looks like we win. Hei-chan, that was a beautiful sacrifice. How's that, Satoko? This is our complete victory, isn't it? Can't be such trickery. It doesn't bother me at all. Satoko ground her teeth, mortified. We did it. I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Reina stopped her squealing as she suddenly realized something. Hei-chan, you're not eating it. Did the salt water make it too strong? Maybe? Maybe? Looking over, Rika-chan had pulled the toothpick out of her apple rabbit, placed it into her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do. Poor Mr. Rabbit. I feel sorry for him. I want to save him. That was the sound of blood spurting from Marina's nose. Cute! Tonight, I will take you home. She shook sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all the apples around me, gathered them up with a whip, and fixed them back onto a plate. Now they're all just fine. Okay? Here, I give them to you, Rika-chan, okay? Rika-chan raised up Satoko's hand like a referee. After having that plate of rabbits shoved to her, she whispered, "Our victory." What? Come back? I just don't care anymore. Thus, my sacrifice ended up being in vain. It was a fun-filled, crazy day. But as soon as the sun began to set, the end of the day really did come quickly. Later, Reina and Kei-chan. See you tomorrow. Thanks for today, Mion. Thanks for today, Mion. I had a great time. See you tomorrow. Satoko and Rina-chan went home as well. We parted ways with Mion, and it ended up with just Reina and myself enjoying the evening air on our way home. Thanks for coming today, Keiichi-kun. Was it fun? Yeah. Lots of fun. Almost feels like a waste to go home now. Ah, then, well, would you mind taking a little detour maybe? Maybe? Detour? Is it far? It's a bit of a walk, but it won't take long. We had been walking around all day. I must have seemed a bit tired. Not feeling like teasing Reina, I quietly nodded. Traversing a small path and up a small hill, land suddenly stretched out before us. There, what looked like the remains of a dilapidated construction site came into view. A large heap of garbage spread out towards a swamp. Probably illegal dumping. I recalled it being the newspaper. It's been quite a while. I wonder what's here. When you say it's been a while, you mean the business you had here? Was with this garbage pile? It's not garbage. To me, it's a pile of treasure. Reina had already entered that well-known cute mode of hers. That meant there was something cute here. Whoa, new pile. I can't wait. She bounded up the unstable slope. I'd expect no less from a born-and-bred country girl. Hey wait, I'm coming. Whoa. My city-raised self was completely pitiful. Alright, just stay there, Keiichi-kun. It won't take that long. Reina kindly declined my accompaniment. Don't fall. Watch your step. I'm fine. This is nothing at all. Literally bounding up the heap of trash, Reina disappeared over the other side. I don't like being left behind, but I was still pretty tired from the whole day, so I ended up just waiting. Without the lively Reina around, the surrounding area quickly fell into silence. The cry of the Higurashi gently cooled the air. Fairly exhausted, I began to feel a little sleepy. Just then, the sudden noise of scattering pebbles alerted me to somebody's presence. Startled, I turned around. Standing there was a typical-looking photographer. He spied over at me through his camera. His body was tanned and fit, but something about him seemed unreliable, and he had a bit of an aloof air about him. Well, it didn't seem like he was a bad guy in any case. Whoa! You surprised me. Although startled when I turned around, he overplayed his reaction. That was my line. I'm the one who's surprised here. My bad, my bad. I didn't mean to startle you. Are you from Hinamizawa? I gathered that he wasn't from that question. Unfazed by my suspicious outlook, he introduced himself without my prompting. I'm Tomitake, freelance photographer. I come to Hinamizawa from time to time. Ask who you were. Quite rude to photograph someone without consent, one would think. My bad, my bad. I mainly photograph wild birds. They can't refuse, you see. So what, you're saying I'm the same as birds? Oh, well, you see, that image of a young man in twilight, just so picturesque. I apologize for trying to take your pictures without asking. Adults are pretty slick. All that annoyance I felt for being startled just flew away as he buttered me up. I had no intention of hanging around with this guy trying to get cozy with me. Except it didn't seem like Reina would be back soon. But this older guy, Onitake-san, he didn't mind my cautious responses and continued rambling by himself. Hey Chikun, sorry to keep you waiting. I'm finished now. Reina popped her head out from one of the lower piles of garbage and waved her hand. You have someone with you? Oh, you have someone with you? What would she be doing over there? That's what I wanted to know. Dunno. Maybe she's checking on that dismembered corpse that was out here long. 1 second, I gotta reread that. No, maybe she's checking on that dismembered corpse that was out here long ago. Tomitake-san looked shaken up by that for a long moment. Uh-oh, I responded like I would if I were talking to Reina and the others. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. Keiichi-kun, sorry to keep you... You were waiting a while, I guess. I'd best leave you two lovebirds alone. Again, my apologies for starting you, Keiichi-kun. Tomitake chortled suggestively, then disappeared into the twilight. Missing my chance to retort put me off a bit. Keiichi-kun, are you angry? Why, I wonder. It wasn't Reina's fault, so I decided to just brush it off for now. How was it? Find a treasure trove? Oh, yes. So listen. You see, there was, a Colonel Sanders doll. A Colonel Sanders doll? Oh, that thing. Those statues they have out in front of that fried chicken place? That life-size dummy? Yes, Colonel Sanders. How cute. I wanted to take it home. I couldn't tell how she decides what's cute or not. But, well, she seems to want it. It's garbage, right? No one would care if you just take it home, right? Become the base of another pile. I can't dig it out easily. There's no lampposts over there, so it'll get dark pretty soon. Reina seemed quite down about finding a treasure and not being able to bring it back. I'll help you out. Repay you for that delicious picnic you prepared today. Thank you. Birds headed home to roost proclaimed that nightfall would soon be upon us. Keiichi-kun is going to help. I can take Colonel Sanders home. Ow. Reina staggered along as if intoxicated in her dreamy state of mind. I tried asking her in a way that wouldn't take her out of her cheery state. Hey, Reina. Long ago, did something happen here? Seems like they were building a dam here. I don't know the details, though. Just wondering if you knew about, an accident or something. Don't know. Her tone was disturbingly frank. It sounded more like denial than an answer. I must have appeared rather dumbstruck. Reina quickly lightened her expression. Actually, I didn't live here up until a year ago. Huh? You transferred here too? I was sure that So you see, I don't really know much from before that. Sorry. Don't really know, don't want to talk about it. That was the kind of feeling she gave me. Thinking about it, of course it would be like that. This wasn't the type of thing girls would enjoy talking about. It's quite a disturbing incident. Seems they haven't been able to find one of the arms. It's just like Tomitake said. And I had a feeling only the Higurashi would know. New tips. Alright, so, let us save it there at the end of chapter 2. I'm going to be moving on to another game. I'm going to check with a friend to see if they want to do a duo stream